Welcome. In this video we're going to show you how to do a flying tour of your Sketchup project. So we're going to do a flying tour of your Sketchup project. I'll just show you what I mean. So quite literally you're going to do a tour of your property and it'll do this. On each of the pauses you will be talking about your perfect study space and why that particular object or space or design has made it a perfect study space. So in your pauses you need to make sure that you wait long enough in order for before you fly on to the next scene. So for example here I zoom in, I pause, and then I zoom a little bit closer, and then I burst through the fencing to go close to the man to give it some scale. But I need to leave enough time to talk while this is happening. And this will be the end of the movie there. I've jumped between all of these scenes here, and now it's starting to repeat itself. I'll now show you how to make that particular movie. Okay, you need to, for your first scene, you need to position yourself away from the object so that you can appear to zoom in. So the very first scene is you're going to be using the pan tool and the rotate tool quite a lot. You position yourself a long way from the object, and then you go to View, Animation, Add Scene. Again, as you want to move closer, use the pan tool, use the rotate tool to bring yourself closer to the object. You've already got one scene, so you now go to View, Animation, Add Scene. And you've now got two scenes. You carry on rotating your object around until you've got all the scenes that you want. I'll show you a few more examples. On scene 3, I want to get really close and I want to zoom from looking at the wall to looking at an individual brick or a few bricks. So I zoom right in and then I go to View, Animation, Add Scene. And you can see I'm building the scenes up. I've now added another scene, so if I click scene 4, it'll give me a flying effect, which takes me round and about. I now come to the fence scene, and again, I zoom right in. I use the rotation tool to keep the orientation I want, and the pan tool to pull the camera up, so I'm sort of level just about with the man's head, and I zoom in. So now I just go to View, Animation, Add Scene. I then go closer to the fence, again using any of the tools I want, and I'm getting as close to the fence as I can without losing too much perspective, and I'd go to View, Animation, Add Scene. Now I want to burst through the fence, I literally just come through the fence like so, and now again I can just use the rotate tool, so I can get a bit closer to the man, pan so I can see his face, and then I'd go to View, Animation, Add Scene. And now if I wanted to rotate around the man, I would I've now come out of the building. It will let me go through the wall, and as you can see I've come through the wall and lost perspective again. Okay, so my final scene should be a zoom well away from the scene, so I now go to View, Animation, Add Scene, and that's my final scene. So I now go back to scene 1. Again, it's that jump between them, it gives me the effect of moving, but I want to play the movie, so I go to View, Animation, and I'd go to Play. It'll give me the button here, and I'll go to Play, and it'll now work its way through the various scenes that I've created. See it pausing, zoom to look at the bricks, zoom out, zoom round. In all the cases, it's giving me time to talk. In a few minutes I'll show you how to add more time to the scenes if after practicing you think you haven't got long enough to talk. So now we'll zoom up to the fence as we just practiced, and then we should zoom through the fence and up to the man, and then we should zoom, finally we should zoom well away from the object and give us some idea there. If you want to add a little bit more time at your stops, you need to go to View, Animation, Settings. In the settings and the animation, you've got the scene transitions. This is the time it takes to move from one scene to another. I wouldn't change this too much, but if you find you need to talk more about the direct light perhaps you put in there, or the choice of desk, or your natural light or something like that, you might want to increase your scene delay at this point here so you've got enough time. So I'll just very briefly show you the effect that these changes have had. You'll now notice that the movie is a lot slower, and the pauses between scene changes are a lot longer, which gives you more time to say something. However, I wouldn't make them too long because it's often quite difficult to fill the gaps of space with enough interesting information about your objects. you can see now that I'm finding it more difficult to talk about things as we move round our object. As we're short of time, the best way to create an animation of your SketchUp is to then load Screencast-O-Matic and just record it when you go to View, Animation, Play, and just do the voiceover at the same time. All right, so once you've done that, you'll then have you'll have an animated movie with pauses in the right place, which you can upload to YouTube and embed into your ePortfolio. If you've got any questions, see Mr. Brown on Tuesday morning. Thank you very much.